Greetings, today I am installing the Autobeam Performance LED D3S dipped beam upgrade.
Alright, here we are then, the Autobeam Performance LED D3S dipped beam units, and absolutely beautiful they are. The look is really futuristic and cool. You can see that we have a big old heat sink, a fan underneath, and the large LEDs either side, and yeah, they just look really great and they feel super high quality. So these are going into my Mark III Focus RS, which of course has HID headlights already, the bi-xenon HID headlights. But where these Autobeam units come in, they are able to produce perfect white light up to 150% brighter versus the standard HIDs. They have a color temperature of 6000 K, which is considered a classic cool white color. So yeah, these are going to be significantly brighter than the HID xenons that are in the RS already, and the light beam will extend up to 250 meters. Absolutely awesome illumination we are going to get on the road, and they are going to be very power efficient as well, being LEDs. So direct replacement, completely plug and play. We just have to replace our existing lamps. We don't have to do anything weird or special. They have the intelligent overheating system, as I mentioned already, with the fan and big heat sink and everything there. And yeah, they are ultimately just going to be an absolutely awesome upgrade over stock. So without further ado, let's get the installation started. Alright, first step then is to open up the bonnet and to remove one of the headlights. First thing to do then, there are a couple of Torx screws, one here and one here. So we want to remove those, and they require a T30 Torx. Alright, next we want to get a good grip on the headlight, and then we're going to pull it upwards and outwards kind of at the same time, and it should release. Now we want to disconnect the electrical harness. And with that, we have the headlight unit completely out of the car. So around the back of the headlight unit, if you pop this rubber cap off, you'll be able to see the item that we are replacing. This is the standard stock D3S unit, and we are going to be replacing that with our Autobeam unit. So in here, what we want to do is we want to twist the collar. So my finger's kind of on it here. It's pretty hard to see, obviously, but it's sort of got a ridged edge. Hopefully you can sort of just see that just to the side of my finger. So the collar is kind of what is holding the bulb in, and of course this is the bulb. Now we need to twist the collar. We don't want to be twisting the bulb because it'll break. We want to twist the collar, and that should release the bulb. It's obviously a tight space, so you just have to get your hand in here and feel the ridges at the side of the collar. So get a decent grip of that, and then so give it a turn anti-clockwise. I need to turn it like about a quarter turn or so. So it's hard to really see, like I was saying before. I mean, obviously it's a very tight space here, but if you can see like the little white clip here, that is like clipped onto part of the collar. So hopefully that sort of gives an idea as to how much it has been rotated anti-clockwise. If you pop this little white clip off the little prong that it is connected to on the collar, we should be pretty free moving with regards to the collar now. So if we get everything sort of straightened out, should just come out. Now that we have this out, you can see a bit better the collar, how it is like sort of connected to the bulb and like rotates around, and then in there you can see the little metal teeth that this like goes into and then sort of rotates to lock into place. So now what we need to do is we just need to swap out our bulb, getting it connected and getting the collar onto it. So on the bottom of the collar you can see there are two little screws. So to get those off, they require a T15 Torx. Okay, when we do that, the bottom of this comes off. So with that bottom bit off, this is just like sort of slid onto the bulb. So if we just sort of like pry the two sides outwards whilst also pushing away, that should pop right off. There we go. Okay, so now we just need to disconnect the old bulb. So if we just grab this bottom bit here, give it a little bit of a pull, it comes off. Alright, with this fully out now, we can do a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. So you can see that, I mean, they're essentially a similar size and shape. Obviously, they have to be. And they both have the exact same connector with that sort of green plastic on the inside. And so therefore they connect, obviously, in the exact same way and place. But ultimately, they are very different technologies, of course, very different overall look. This looks very futuristic with its aluminium heat sink and its integrated fan, and just the LED stack just looks really awesome, whereas this looks like a sort of traditional old kind of bulb. I mean, that's literally made of glass. So yeah, very different designs doing a similar thing, but the Autobeam unit is going to just simply do it better. But yeah, since I mentioned the connectors there with this green plastic, and hopefully you can see, I'm not sure how easy it is to see on camera, but there are two pins on the left, a gap and then a single pin, so that will just inform us in terms of connecting up the cable. It can only go in one way, and we'll just line it up with that. So the connector here is notched, so it can only go in one way anyway. But if you want to just confirm, if you rotate it around this direction, again, I'm not sure if you can see on camera, can you see that gap where there isn't a pin? Obviously there's 4 holes here, but as I was saying, on the unit, it's 2 pins, a gap, and then a pin, and that lines up exactly with the gap here. So I'm going to get the collar on, and then we'll connect this up, but you can see that's how you know what way to put it in. So doing our collar is pretty much the opposite of what we did to remove it from the stock DS3 unit. We literally just slide this over the top, so we line it up and then just go like that, and it snaps into place. So now you can see this rotates freely, but what we want to do is we want to get the open end lined up with the connector end, and the reason for that is that our LED stack here is kind of like wide, if you compare it to the sort of more like sort of cylindrical design of the stock one. Now what that means is that in terms of getting it into the housing, we need to go in a certain way, and if we were to have this rotated like that, then that would mean that we would have to go in sideways and it just wouldn't fit. So we rotate this like this so that we are going in with this like vertical. So yeah, very simple, opposite of before. We just grab the bottom end, line this bit up with the bottom slot. There's little like pins that sort of allow it to line up appropriately, and then we just get our 2 little screws back in place. Same T15 as before. Just getting them snugged. We don't want to overdo it. We are screwing into plastic, of course. Alright, excellent. Now it should really rotate from here, the bottom, which is the closed position, up until here at the most, which is the open position. So if we have got our pins nicely lined up and our connector nicely lined up with that little notch, just line it up and it just pushes right on, real easy. So like I was mentioning there with the being the closed position and the open position, we want to insert it in the open position so that we can get it over the little metal pins in here, and then once we have it all the way pushed in, we will rotate back into the closed position and it will lock. So let's do that now. So rotate into the open position and in we go. Okay, so just getting it all nicely lined up. Should sort of, you should feel it dropping like into place into the appropriate position. Just rotating myself a little bit here. So I don't know if you heard that, but it sort of just clicked over those teeth and into position. And of course, everything should be sort of like square lined up here. So now we want to reach in there and rotate the collar into the closed position, like it was whenever we were removing the original bulbs. And when we're doing that, we want to hold on to the Autobeam unit. We don't want the unit to rotate at the same time. So we just sort of brace it with our hand and then rotate that collar until it clicks into the locked position. If this rotates, it could damage it, and we don't want that. Of course, we want to just hold it in place, rotate the collar, and lock it in. All right, so I've got it in here. I'm holding it one hand with my thumb on the back of the unit. Then I'm going to find the little notch of the collar, and I'm going to rotate it clockwise until it clicks really nice and secure in place. Hopefully you heard that, but also whenever you're doing it, you will feel it. And once it's in place, it's in place. This little notch, this little thing should like line up down here, basically right beside our connector. And then we can then just slide or click this little thing onto it just to finish off here. There we are. Okay, so that is this basically done. All we need to do now is to replace our little rubber dust cap. All right, and that is this side ready to go back into the car. Reinstallation then is just going to be the exact opposite of taking it out. So we'll start off with our electrical connection. Then we will lower in the light unit, kind of going in and down at the same time until it goes into position. And we know that we are good when our two holes for the torque screws up here and down here line up nicely. And speaking of the torque screws, we can go ahead and get those back in place now. Alright, that is this side done, so now I will just repeat the exact same process on the other side. There we are then, nice, quick and simple. So we are now ready to test them out. Obviously it's like, you know, still pretty bright out right now, but you can see they are currently off. So if I jump into the car, ignition on, I don't need to fire up the engine, and then just go to dipped heads. You should hopefully see illumination. And we do. Should be able to clearly see that we have illumination there, and we have illumination there. Well, that shows that the installation has been successful. They are working. All I need to do now is wait until it gets dark, go out and give them a test. I will put in a side-by-side comparison right here, a before and after, so that you can see the difference between the standard stock bi-xenon HIDs and these brand new Autobeam Performance LED versions. So here it is now.
So there we are then, it is the next day. I was out last night testing out the Autobeam Performance D3S dipped beam upgrade, and I must say I am very, very impressed. They work flawlessly, they come on very quickly as advertised. Very nice, clean, clear light, nice and bright. The color is a nice white color, noticeably cleaner and whiter than the stock HIDs, which I personally really like. And given that it's such a quick and easy direct swap upgrade, I am loving it. I am very, very happy with it, and I hope you like it too. If you want to grab yourself a set, I will put a link to them in the description box below, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe for more content to come very, very soon. Thank you once again. Goodbye.